In your notebook, write today's date 9.8 factor polynomials completely. And this will be the last lesson of Unit 9. And there will be 2 parts to it due to the size of the file. In your notebook, copy question number 4. Binomial factors. Factor the expression. So the first thing you got to understand is you have 5y, y plus 3 minus this. The first tendency students usually have is the distributive property. Do not distribute the property. There is an easier and a simpler way to get the answer. So the first thing you got to understand is that there is something in common. You have y plus 3 and you have y plus 3. So if I break it apart as 2 portions to this question, so this is one part of the question and this is the second part of the question. So this is first and this is the second. In both the parts, you have y plus 3. So once you recognize that in the first part and in the second part, you have y plus 3, they both are the same. So I'm going to pull out the y plus 3, which is common. So this basically is your greatest common factor, pulling out something that is common. So the remaining, which in this case I'm going to highlight and show you, which is 5y and minus 2, they are different. So they are the leftovers. So they are different. So anything that is different, I'm going to open parenthesis and dump it inside. So 5y minus 2 goes inside. And this is the answer. They're not asking you to solve anything. They just want you to factor the expression, and this is it. Copy question number 10. So let's focus on this one, and you see y minus 4 and 4 minus y. They look similar. So the first thing is let's identify. This will be my first portion of the question, and this will be my second portion of the question. So if I need to pull something which is common, I have to have either y minus 4 or I must have 4 minus y. I cannot have them in reverse. Y is positive, here y is negative. 4 is negative, here 4 is positive. So I have to make sure that not only do they look alike, the signs also are the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my first one exactly as it is, not touching it. Now I want to change the signs here. I want to reverse the sign. I want to change my 4 to a negative, and I want to change my y to a positive, which means I'm going to pull out a negative sign. So instead of positive, I'm going to get a negative 5, and now reversing the symbol. So I'm going to get y now becomes a positive. So this becomes a positive, and 4 now becomes a negative. So now once you recognize this is my first part, and this is my second part. And if you have highlighters, color pencils, crayons, pause the video and grab them first. So they both look the same. So anything that looks the same, I'm going to pull out. And in this case, the remaining, I'm just going to put it inside. So they look different. So this and this, I'm going to open close parenthesis and I'm going to dump it inside. So they look different. So y squared minus 5 times y minus 4 will be the answer. Just writing it close, y minus 4. There's no gap or anything. So this will be the answer. Copy question number 14. Factor by grouping. Factor the polynomial. All these questions look almost like solving a puzzle or a riddle. They are fun. So the first thing you got to identify is instead of 2, instead of 3, now you are left with 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first thing is, let's see if I could group them together. So I'm going to group these two, and I'm going to group these two. So if I group the first two, I'm looking at y cubed and y squared, and I have y squared that I could pull out. So y squared is my common factor. So the rest goes inside. So I already have a y squared. I need one more y to give me my y cubed. Minus sign comes inside, 9 comes inside, and y squared is already there. Close parenthesis. Plus, now y minus 9. So I'm going to pull out a 1 and the rest goes inside. 1 times y is y, 1 times negative 9 is just negative 9. The reason why I put a 1 is because I want to group them together. So if I have this as my first and this as my second, and in both the cases I have y minus 9 being the same, so I'm going to pull out the y minus 9 outside, and the rest I'm going to pull it inside. So which will be y squared plus 1 inside because they are different. And this will be the answer. Copy question number 20. Let's pick up speed. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to group these two together and I'm going to group these two together. So let's see. So from x squared plus 8x, I can pull out the x. So I need an x squared, so which means I need one more x plus 8. So x squared is done, plus is done, 8 is done, x is already there. So that part is done. So now going for the second one. Which is from here. So I'm going to pull out a minus sign. And I'm looking at the y and the y. Y is common. So I'm going to pull out the minus sign and the y. So I pulled out the y and the y. They are all done. So the remaining needs to go inside the parenthesis. So x needs to go inside the parenthesis for the first one. And minus, you already have taken care of the minus sign. So now it becomes a plus. And 8 goes inside. So now coming to the second step. This will be my first and this will be my second. So in the first and the second, if I look, I have x plus 8 open close will be the same. The remaining, these two are different. So I'm going to open close parenthesis and just put it inside. X minus y open close parenthesis, and this will be the final answer. If you were to do the FOIL method or the table method, you're going to get this back again. Copy question number 26. Factor the polynomial completely. You got to like these questions because you already have something that is common. So I have a 4 and a 16. They both have 4 in common. So I'm going to pull out the 4. And so the 4 is done. And I have y6 to deal with, which is done. Minus sign taken care of. 4 times 4 is going to give me my 16. And y to the power of 4 is going to be inside. And now if you remember the formula, so the one formula that you have to remember, which will come all the way to your high school, will be a squared minus b squared equals a plus b, a minus b. So now I have y to the power of 6. So I'm going to break it apart as y cubed gets the square of 2 minus 2y squared gets a 2. Now keep in mind, if you work this in reverse, the power of the power 3 times 2 gives you the 6, which is back again. And if you give the 2 to the 2, 2 times 2 or 2 squared is 4, and power of the power gives you the back the y4. So if you look at a squared minus b squared, your a is y cubed, your b is 2y squared. So basically this turns out to be 4 y cubed plus 2y squared open close, y cubed minus 2y squared open close, which will be the final answer.